So Harrison's Garden is this sort of installation of a couple of thousand clocks, and it's inspired by John Harrison. And John Harrison lived in the 18th century and was a carpenter by trade, but he wanted to create an incredibly accurate clock. So he spent his entire life designing the most accurate clocks that anyone could ever find. And he did that mainly to solve the problem of something called longitude. So at that point, before accurate watches, before accurate clocks, sailors would go out into the sea and they could see their latitude because where the sun was in the position, but they couldn't work out their longitude. And because they couldn't do that, they couldn't work out where they were at sea. And it meant that there were thousands of sailors killed each year where boats and ships crashed onto the rocks and were killed through drowning. And this is because they didn't know where they were. So you're trying to get home, you've been travelling all around the world, you've got your lovely ship costing thousands and thousands of pounds, and it's all full of amazing goods, and it's worth a lot of money, and you're coming back into England on a foggy day, and you don't know where you are, and you're just looking randomly for land. And so, it was a massive problem for hundreds and hundreds of years. So this competition was set up by the government for quite a lot of money to solve the problem of longitude. And John Harrison spent his entire life creating the world's most accurate clocks to try and solve that problem, which he did. And so my artwork, Harrison's Garden, is this sort of imaginary landscape. An imaginary garden of thousands and thousands of clocks, all arranged into particular species. So we've got anniversary clocks, and we've got all these sort of alarm clocks all ticking, and it creates this sort of mad watery landscape of sound. It's very, very beautiful, and there are pathways kind of connecting different spaces. So I'm sort of touring this artwork around the National Trust properties, and wherever it goes, it gets interpreted slightly differently depending on whether it's presented, say, in a castle, or if it's presented in a sort of a stately home. If it was perhaps put into a jail, people would think about it in a very different way depending on the context. So that's, in a nutshell, the artwork.